All right, so welcome to a very delayed version or episode here of DM Insomnia. So, welcome back. It's only about 2 in the morning on the West Coast, so it's not that late. So, cleaning up, we'll get right into it here. Cleaning up my craft area, I came across scraps of everything foam core, regular foam, popsicle sticks, the lot. And I started really thinking, what a waste. We go to all this trouble to go on the cheap and craft with found materials, and here I am getting ready to throw a bunch of stuff away. So I put it all into a bag and just let it sit there for a while and percolate. And then I start going through it, and I'm like, I wonder, what could I do with this stuff? So I set it to myself to just do a craft with my crap. Literally my garbage, the stuff I had left over from every project I've been working on. So here's what you need for this craft. Scrap piece of foam core with no paper. Paper removed on both sides. Glue gun of choice. I put it on here just because I had this here. Any base will work. It all depends on how you want to do it. If you want to use one of the wide craft sticks, great. Piece of plastic, go for it. No base at all? Okay. They're more difficult to start off, but don't need a base. You really don't. So, set that aside. What you're going to do is you're going to take your foam, you can kind of see I've done it here, and just start tearing off pieces about the size of the tip of your thumb. And if they come off bigger, great. If not, they come off smaller, no problem. Just tear it apart. Just start collecting bits of torn off foam. So I'm going to do this for a second. Oh wait, I've done that already. I thought ahead on this video, didn't I? Alright, so you got your pile here. Now, this is where you have to think, okay, am I just going to do basic scatter terrain, something for them to climb over or around or what? This technique, you could probably use it in making a building or something too. So I happen to have craft stick laying around. So what you do, you start at one end, lay on some glue, slap on one of these. Next to it, boom, repeat, rinse, repeat, rinse, repeat, rinse. Now, it only has to be as neat as you want your wall to end up looking. So I'm going to go ahead and shut myself up and go a little quick. Get this done. So it does nothing neat. This looks too symmetrical. Tear it off. No problem. So there's your first layer. This is where your inner stonemason comes to life. Okay, so I've got this little tiny piece here. I'll put that on the end just to kind of help with the offset. Then I'll take this one right across here. You can see I'm leaving a gap in between. Doesn't matter. These walls were never, well, sometimes they were. It depends on how anal the craftsman was that was making them. But they don't have to be perfect. They don't have to be butted up perfect like bricks or anything like that. These were often very, farmers finding all these flat rocks, and so they would end up just stacking them along the edges of their property, mostly just to keep out critters, or keep critters in, cows and horses and stuff. And that's where I originally got this idea from. My aunt used to have me stacking these stupid rocks every summer. Alright, so you can just see it's just offset. Just like bricks would kind of have an offset. You just stack your chunks of ripped up foam. So I'm going to go ahead and finish this one up, and then we'll be right back. Alright, so got the wall put together. there. Now for black bombing, with all these nooks, crannies, crevices, holes, and all that, full strength paint, not advisable. It just won't flow the way you need it to. Oftentimes what I do is, I mix my paint with glue to give it a little more, make it a little more solid. But in this case, what I actually end up doing is taking the black and watering it down a bit. Not a whole ton, just a little bit. Just enough to help it flow in all the cracks. It'll still cover it. And in this, with something like this, it's not even necessary to have it completely black. You don't want the white showing, but if you want to use a dark gray, a slate blue, just to give it some variety in color, that would work as well. But you just want to make sure you get a good amount of coverage. Now, if you really want to be anal about it, take the time, you could probably rip all these pieces off, black bomb them individually, wait for that to dry, and then glue them together. And I don't have that kind of time. I got 2 kids, a wife, and a job. But you want it covered. So some of these places are a little more difficult to get into, and I know a lot of people wear gloves when they paint. I don't. I'm not worried about it. I figure if you don't get a little bit dirty when you're crafting, you're not having enough fun. So a lot of people that watch my channel, which isn't nearly as many people as I would like, but I'm hoping to get some new subscribers, get stuff flowing. They know that I don't know, shortcuts maybe. I make do with what I have. So I went ahead and did one of those tip channel things. Like right now I'm using actually original camera. I kind of piecemealed it together and got it working. Trying to work a deal with a buddy of mine, Anthony, who runs Rogue Sculpts, to purchase his extra camera once I have some funds or something that he's interested in trading. But if you guys are bored, have the money, and you want to tip a little bit towards me getting a new camera, that'd be cool. I'm not quite confident enough in my following to do a Patreon because, well, I'm new at this, and, well, I'm not as regular with putting these videos out as I'd like to be. So, got it all black bombed, gonna let that dry up, then we'll start the dry brushing. For me, it's just a series of grays, just to get the texture to pop. But with this, you could do it in so many different ways. You can go as high as you want. You could, get really intricate with the way the rocks fit together. You could add windows. I've seen people do archways with actual rocks without any mortar or anything, just balancing the rocks together. So you could get pretty intricate. But when we come back, we'll dry brush it and go over some of the other details and possibilities. And then, of course, it's something that's so easy, and it just uses garbage. It just uses your throwaway scraps of foam core. That's it. And my job, my hope is to eliminate waste, not throw anything away. Probably won't happen, but that's what I'm going to start doing, is just trying to take all my scraps and find out what can I build. So we'll be back with the dry brushing and go from there. Alright, so black bomb pretty much dry. There's a couple shiny spots in there, but it won't really hurt anything to go ahead and get started. So got pewter gray. It's kind of the darker of the grays I've got. And you'll notice the paint all over this. It's because when I'm dry brushing, I have a tendency just to do that. Put it straight on there. The texture on here helps just kind of wipe things clean. And then just, I usually go with the rock texture. And for this, you want to do a pretty heavy coat, cover up a lot of the black on the facings. And since the way this one's built, it's a double-sided, so do both sides. Get a lot of the detail out of that. And this is probably the stage where if you're going to do some slate blue on some of these, you know, get out a smaller rock and add a little more color to them and whatnot. Like I said, for me, it's the grays work great for the rocks. Allows the texture to really pop out. And that doesn't actually take that long to dry. For the next coat, I actually use a dolphin gray, a lot lighter. Play off this brush real fast. A little bit of the dolphin gray. And for this coat, I actually go opposite, perpendicular to the way that everything goes. But you just to hit, you know, just hit the edges, make those pop out. And if it looks too bright, you just brush right over it with a little more of the darker gray. Grab up some of that, hit it. It's all about how you want these to look, how much, you know, contrast you want. And that's it. Like I said, with these you could always build more up and build yourself an arch. Use this to create a door, like a rough doorway or an opening. Add windows in. A lot of options from trash. Stuff you'd usually just sweep off into the garbage can and have it be done. Not too bad. Rock wall made completely out of foam core scraps, a little bit of paint. So right now it's about 4 in the morning, West Coast, and so I'm gonna get this processing, and yeah, so sleep well.